Would I be the asshole if I don't give away my car? I, a 38-year-old female, have a stepson who is 16 years old from my husband's first marriage. My husband is 44 years old. My husband and I had agreed that once my stepson gets his license, he could take my car and I would get something new. We had already informed my stepson about this arrangement. The car is in my name, and I paid it off before my husband and I got married. Stepson and I have always gotten along great for the most part. I have known him since he was about 9 years old. I do not always agree with how my husband and his ex-co-parent because his biological mother just wants to be best friends with her son and will not punish, discipline, or provide any sort of structure. If my husband attempts to provide structure, my stepson just runs away to his mother's house. So my husband has basically given up trying and is just going along to get along. This, as you can imagine, has created a monster. My stepson is never in trouble for anything and does whatever he pleases. I truly think that they are creating a horrible person. I know I share some responsibility in that as well, but the majority of the parenting is on them. Recently, my stepson has decided that I am the devil. Many will think, well, what did you do that made him think that? And I truly wish I had that answer for you. One day we were having a discussion, and my stepson told a lie. I responded, that is not true, and he exploded on me. Ever since then, my stepson has not spoken to me and has said very hateful things to me and about me. I attempted one time to talk to him about it and said, I'm not sure what I did to make you so angry, but I'd like to know and I'm sure we can work past this. That comment was just fuel to the fire. He has doubled down and has been living with his biological mother ever since. This is not the first time this kid has had an outburst in my direction, but this is definitely the longest he has ever treated me this way. In the past, I have either brushed this behavior off or made attempts to talk to him and get back to normal. This is really the last straw for me, and I refuse to keep bending over backward. My husband has been supportive and has told his son that apologizing to me is a requirement. However, it has not yet happened. This situation has been ongoing for about 2 months now. So, my question is, if I do not give my stepson my car, would I be the antagonist? In my mind, it does not make sense to give someone a car if they are actively saying that they hate me. I told my husband that I was planning on just trading it in soon and getting something new. He said, why would you do that? Then we would just have to buy our son a car later. I responded that my money is not going to a car for this kid. That is the consequence of being disrespectful and rude. My husband thinks I should just give the car because it is the easiest way to go, and he thinks I am blowing this out of proportion. Also, there is no need for this kid to have a car right now. He does not have a job, does not participate in any extracurricular activities, and we live a 10-minute walking distance from his school. I think you are not in the wrong here. Mouthy brats shouldn't get any favors, and rewarding bad behavior is never a good idea. Your mother would be thrilled at the opportunity to get you a car, and it wouldn't be right to deny her that privilege. Plus, it's better for the car and all its responsibilities to remain with the parent. Would I be the jerk if I asked my parents for an equal distribution of chores between me and my sibling? Just to be clear, my parents are not abusive in any way, and I consider myself a very lucky person to have everything I do. My parents have been nothing but supportive and caring towards myself and my siblings. I, a 17-year-old girl, have 3 siblings, 2 older brothers who have both moved out and a younger brother who is 15 years old. I do the majority of the dishes. I also do the hoovering, washing clothes, cleaning the bathroom, living room, and kitchen. Additionally, I do most of the pet care. I even cook meals when either my parents are not home or are just tired. I do not have a problem with any of this because it is honestly not a big deal compared to everything my parents do for me. I do not have an allowance, but I sometimes help my parents out at work when it gets busy or extra cover is needed, and they give me some money for that. My family often takes small weekend holidays at our caravan, but due to our pets, I normally stay home to take care of them so my parents can relax properly without having to worry about taking the dogs for a walk if it rains. My brother goes with them. Here is my problem. I am the only one of my siblings who helps out my parents. My 2 older brothers never helped out around the house, and despite them both having their own places and jobs, they often ask my parents to buy and deliver their shopping to them. My younger brother is even worse. He helps out with nothing, often makes us late because he does not want to get out of bed, and whenever he is asked to do anything, he replies with, I forgot, and says it is not his fault. He does not like school and spends all his time playing video games with his friends. He is in the middle of his GCSEs, and I honestly do not know what he is going to do afterward, as I do not think he will achieve a passing grade in most of his subjects, including English, which severely limits his options. I want to ask my parents to give some of the things I help out with to my younger brother, even if it is just him laying the table or something small, because I cannot help but feel frustrated that he literally does not help out in any way. He does not even clean his room, and it is either me or my mom who does. I know that if I ask my parents, they would agree and ask my brother to help out more. But I know that will only lead to stress, as he either will not do it or will do it so badly that someone else has to do it again. I do not think it is fair that I help out so much when he does not do anything, but I also do not want to stress out my parents and put more of a burden on them. So would I be the asshole if I asked despite knowing that it will cause more stress for my parents? Set a schedule and let the family know it's time for the workload to be shared. It's not fair otherwise. Start prepping a plan to move out and go to university. Your brother is 15. He should begin learning some life skills and taking on responsibilities. Good luck. Am I the jerk for not letting my best friend live on my farm? My husband and I spent 1 year fulfilling our dream of a farm in a mountain area, and another year finishing everything. Last week, I invited my family and my best friend over for the first time. Since we live in another country, they spent the whole weekend here and slept in our guest houses. My parents left on Sunday, and my best friend decided to stay for another 3 days. On the last day, she told me how beautiful it is here and how much she loves it. I told her that I am very glad she liked it, and she is free to visit me again. She said that since she is still single, she asked me if she could live here with me, my husband, and my children. She said that the guest house is perfect for her, and she would work on the farm with me and take care of the children. I declined and explained to her that I appreciate how much she likes it here, but I would like to only live with my family, and privacy is very important to me. She told me that I would have privacy because the guest house is not directly next to my house, and that she would not bother me. She added how I am lucky to have a beautiful place in a beautiful area with a husband and children, and that she is unfortunately not lucky at all. She just wishes that I would share this luck with her. I told her that she needs to find her own luck. If I let her stay here, she would never find her own luck, and it is important for her to find her own. I told her I am fine with her visiting more often if she feels lonely or needs a break from life, but not living here. She then basically implied how selfish I am to gatekeep my happiness and not share it with a best friend in need. She said that if the tables were turned, she would let me live with her. I told her that I wouldn't expect this from her and would never come to the idea of living with her husband and her children. She left, and we haven't talked since. My husband said I did the right thing. He thinks it is not normal for her to react like that. Am I the asshole for not helping her out? You did nothing wrong here. You built the guest house for guests, not occupants, and having her around 24/7 would be a huge lifestyle change for your entire family. Accusing you of gatekeeping your happiness is just a way to shame you into doing something that she wants. You aren't gatekeeping her ability to find happiness. You're protecting your own quality of life, and you have every right to do so. You don't owe anyone anything, and it's totally fair to prioritize your family's well-being. Am I the jerk for refusing to share my birthday with my stepmother? My stepmother's birthday is the day after mine. Since my father started dating her about 10 years ago, I've been expected to share almost every celebration for my birthday with her. I was fine with it because I was in my early 20s and had other people to celebrate with, namely my mother and my friends, but it still bothered me that my father and I couldn't have our own thing. I am married with 2 children, an 8-year-old son and a 3-year-old daughter, and we have a little tradition. Because I was born in the second half of June, there is usually a Pixar movie playing in theaters. Every year on my birthday, we go to the movies to watch it and then have dinner together. We've been doing this since my son was 3, though we watched the movies at home in 2020 and 2021. This year, we're watching Inside Out 2. It will be my daughter's first time joining us, as she just started sitting through movies, so we're all very excited. I had never told my father or stepmother about this tradition. Last week, while we were visiting them, my children told them we'd be going to the movies for my birthday, and I ended up explaining everything. The next day, my father and stepmother called me to tell me they were paying for the whole family, including me, the children, my husband, and both of them, to go to the movies and have dinner, just like I'd planned. It was obvious they intended to celebrate my stepmother's birthday at the same time. They referred to it as our birthdays and suggested her favorite place for dinner. I told them that while I understood it was close to her birthday as well, this is a tradition intended to only celebrate mine, and I prefer to enjoy it with my children and husband. As such, I prefer to pay for myself and would appreciate it if they didn't join us. They're both very upset. My father called me entitled for refusing to celebrate my stepmother's birthday as well as mine, and said I'm sending a terrible message to my children by refusing to share. I feel like I'm too old to be acting like this over my birthday, but I don't want to share this tradition with her. Am I the asshole? I think you are not in the wrong here. It's completely reasonable to have family traditions exclusive to your spouse and kids, especially on your birthday. Your father inviting himself and his new wife to your celebration is rude and disrespectful. Your own family should always be the top priority, and it's fair to set boundaries and have separate celebrations. Am I the jerk for getting mad when my date implied I was ungrateful? I had a weird interaction on a first date that's haunting me a bit, and I'm so curious how others might interpret the situation. I had a first dinner date the other day, which went fine for the most part. I was a bit late because of public transport, which I sent a text about beforehand and apologized for in person. We had a nice conversation, but it wasn't clicking for me as a potential partner. For example, he kept interrupting me and wouldn't let me finish a sentence. So I wasn't really vibing with the date, but it wasn't egregiously bad. At the end of the night, I had to use the restroom, so I left the table for a minute. During that time, my date paid for our dinner. It wasn't intentional that I ran to the restroom while the check came, but I could see how that could come off in a bad way. I repeatedly said things like this was a great dinner, the food was so good, and complimented his choice of restaurant. When I got back from the restroom, it felt like my date really rushed me out the door and was insistent on walking me home or biking home with me. I didn't really want to tell him exactly where I live, just a safety thing really. This person is a stranger. So I wasn't very into the idea, and I think my frustration spilled out a little bit at being pushed to take a walk or bike rather than the train I planned. I should have just said a harder no, but it's always an awkward dance when you're trying to exit a date that is not a good match. So I reluctantly agreed to bike home. We were having a light conversation for most of the 15-minute bike ride, but at a stoplight, he suddenly got very serious and said, "You know, you didn't thank me for the dinner I paid for." It was said so seriously that at first I thought he was joking, but once I realized he was 100% serious, I got angry. I responded that we hadn't parted ways yet, and I normally would thank someone for dinner at that point. I did thank him quite effusively for a lovely dinner at this point. He responded by saying, "I'm not fishing for compliments," which made me angrier, so I responded in a pretty sarcastic way that he was. Am I the asshole? It was a really jarring interaction, but I'm kind of feeling bad that I wasn't more effusive earlier, because I genuinely always try to be thoughtful and grateful for something like a meal or a gift. He was definitely trying to get back to your place, and his behavior was super creepy. Bringing it up to guilt you was just manipulative. You handled the situation well and did nothing wrong. You did nothing wrong here. Am I the jerk for telling my spouse that we have different priorities than their birthday celebration? I am upset and think my husband is being selfish right now. I, a 32-year-old female, am married to Alex, a 30-year-old male. I am currently 3 months pregnant, and this pregnancy has been really hard on me. In the past, I have miscarried, so we are keeping this pregnancy a secret until around 4 months, and will not tell friends and family until then. I have awful morning sickness that has let up in the past month, and as I cannot tell anyone, it has been hard. Alex has really supported me during this time. Alex's 30th birthday was Wednesday. I invited close family and friends over and got catering from his favorite restaurant. I cannot cook huge volumes of food for guests or be up on my feet very long. I made sure the party was short by throwing it on Sunday, so people would leave early for work the next day. The party was tiring for me, and while I wanted to be there for Alex, I was glad when everyone left as I just wanted to go to bed. The morning after, Alex said he had fun, and I thought that was the end of it. For his actual birthday on Wednesday, I made him a cake and got him a birthday present. He seemed disappointed, and when I asked why, he asked me if this was it. I was confused, and he said he assumed I was throwing him a big surprise birthday as he knew how much celebrating his 30th meant to him. I told him no, his party was what happened on Sunday, and that I have been too sick and tired to plan anything bigger. That party alone was a huge effort for me, especially coordinating what worked for everyone else, which happened to be Sunday and worked out best for me. I got upset, called him selfish, and have avoided him ever since. He is upset because for my 30th, he planned a big celebration and even invited my college friend from another country. I obviously appreciated his effort, and that was the best birthday anyone has ever planned for me. However, that is not possible for me to do for him while pregnant. I told him we have different priorities now, and he said that the baby was not even here yet. Alex has made it clear in the past he wanted to throw a big birthday for his 30th, but with my pregnancy and him seeing how it affects me day to day, I thought he would be more understanding of the effort I did make and more aware of what is possible for his birthday. This whole situation seems to boil down to a lack of proper communication. You knew what he wanted and that you couldn't provide it for him right now, so talking to him in advance would have helped manage expectations. Just saying something like, "I know it's a big birthday for you, but I just can't make it happen this year. Let's plan to make the next one extra special," could have made a big difference. He might have assumed you were planning something because you didn't discuss it, which led to his disappointment. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.